Watching TV has changed over time. Streaming has become the new norm. That's why Golden State Media Concepts television podcast dives headfirst to the world of cord cutting. Want to be on the loop of what's hot in Netflix? Or if it's not a preference, what about original shows in Hulu? We've got you covered. Join us as we fill in the blanks and talk about movies to stream and what show you should be binging. This is the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast.
Welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast. I'm Shay Northrup.
And I'm Jordan Giles. Hi, everybody. How's it going?
And this is a very special episode. This is our 30th television episode.
The big 3-0. We're officially over the hill on what's likely to last another 30 episodes.
You know, they say the teen years were the best years, but I think we still got a long way to go.
And this is a crazy coincidence because this also marks the amount of time me and Shay have known each other. 30 months now.
I think it's been 6, but...
Is it really?
Yeah, we've only been here for 6 months.
Oh, we're such good friends. I didn't even remember that. I thought it
if you
feels
mean
like forever.
30 days times 6...
Which is probably what I meant. Look, guys, this is the anniversary of our 30 times 6 days knowing each other, and it's been very special. So we're going to try to make this episode as special as this anniversary is for us.
And to make things very special, let's start off with an icebreaker.
An icebreaker, you say?
Now, what show have you seen, like what show ended, the season finale, that you were content with? So like the whole show got wrapped up.
Okay, as you guys could see, I was feigning ignorance of the icebreaker. I clearly knew what it was going to be because me and Shay both agreed that while we both loved Breaking Bad, and we can even talk about how much we loved the ending of Breaking Bad, it's too easy, and we're going to try. We tried our best to reach out and find something we're content with. Maybe not as much, but still a lot.
I'm pretty sure that like once that question came about, the first thing on our minds was Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
like,
that was immediately like, oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure all of you out there in the audience are just like, yeah, Breaking Bad. But we're going to avoid that for now, and we'll get back to that later.
We brought up the icebreaker, and I said, oh, I can do Breaking Bad. And you said, I was going to do Breaking Bad. So we were like, let's neither do Breaking Bad. We're going to, okay. Well, mine, I'm going to go ahead and say, is Raising Hope.
Wow, you started first this time.
I started first.
That's unprecedented.
Well, I feel very confident. Usually I have to hear you guys and go, yeah, no, now I'm feeling this. I'm not pausing for dramatic effect. But right now, I'm confident enough to say Raising Hope is the show I was satisfied with.
Tell me a little bit about Raising Hope. I don't really know anything about it.
Really?
Is it an ABC Family show? It sounds like an ABC Family show.
No, God, is it? No, I think it was Fox. It was a Fox show.
Oh, okay. I don't.
A little bit of faith got restored, huh?
I don't mind Fox. I like Fox a lot of times.
Well, this is actually, and I think this is something you could enjoy watching. A lot of the stars have kind of since become a bit studded. That they've moved on to cooler things.
Oh, cool!
Like Sabrina, the girlfriend, the love interest that worked at the grocery store, actually now is the agent on Westworld.
Oh.
Yeah. Dark-haired. Yeah.
Yeah. I like her.
She was on Raising Hope, and that's where I first met her. Also, the dad from Raising Hope is on The Mindy Project.
Wow.
And the mother also, still carrying on, is doing The Real O'Neills.
Now tell me a little bit about Raising Hope. I'm not familiar with the show. I remember seeing advertisements for it.
Raising Hope. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, and being like, oh, that looks like family stuff.
Yeah, no, well, I kind of, okay, so, and it was created by the guy who made My Name is Earl.
Oh, I actually love that show.
Oh, yeah, and actually Raising Hope is very My Name is Earl-esque.
Really?
The show, like... It's the supporting cast, the people around them, and a lot of hilarious people are doing it.
Yeah.
Had, they really helped carry the show as far, just almost as equally as the main characters did itself. Raising Hope is about a boy or not a boy, he's kind of a man boy, kind of a loser. He has a van, and he works with his dad's gardening company, and he saves a serial killer from getting chased by somebody. He didn't know she was a serial killer. She thanks him by sleeping with him in his van.
Oh.
And then the next day, he introduced them to the family, and they find out she's a wanted killer. So they beat her with a frying pan. She gets sent to jail, or maybe it was a TV. It was something.
Jeez.
She's sent to jail, and it turns out that she was about to be executed, but she's pregnant with a baby that they later name Hope. So she gets shocked, and he takes the baby with him, and now he's raising Hope.
You know, that actually does sound pretty good. You know what I probably thought that you were talking about when I first heard you say Raising Hope? Do you remember there was a Disney Channel show called Raising Caroline or something like that?
No. I feel like that name sounds familiar, but
I think that was what my mind went to when you first
there was something
said
family
it.
friendly.
Yeah.
Well, it's still a show that has a lot of heart, but it also has that offbeat.
Well, so did My Name is Earl.
Yeah, I'd say that this is really. It's a good afterthought to My Name is Earl. It was a lot of fun, and crazy thing is that all of the characters, minor to large, even Jason Lee, came back on Raising Hope for different parts. Jason Lee actually played a rock star who was like, I think his name was Smokey, and he was super cool and did all this stuff, but he was also a real jerk. So after their first interaction with him in an episode, he came back saying, hey, I was such a jerk back in my rock star days, but because you guys kind of made me realize I was such a jerk, I made a list of all the things I've done wrong in life, and I'm just trying to, cross things off my list and do good.
Oh, that's great.
So they do little slight nods with that. Now, the reason I loved Raising Hope so much, the ending, was because the show kept progressing. Like, he did get the girl. They didn't stretch that out through seasons, and it went into, like, his relationship with her and living with the family, and it was a lot of fun with, the show being a fun little, momentous thing while still moving forward.
That was something that I actually really liked about My Name is Earl, too, because they never left it hanging for the entire time. Like,
until
eventually
the show
something
got
happened.
canceled, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like if they got to end that show, that would be in my what I'm happy with list. But Raising Hope, when they realized that, the show's great, but there's not... As fun as the adventures are, we can't keep going forward with the story. They ended it on a very nice, happy, like everything's going to be okay note.
Yeah.
Malcolm in the Middle. I'm also happy with Malcolm in the Middle. But that's.
I think we all are happy with Malcolm in the Middle. Like, Malcolm in the Middle is one of those shows that I've revisited. Like, I think I've seen it in its entirety at least 3 times.
Yo, me too. I rewatched it. I spent like a week just rewatching all the episodes again. It's fun.
It's my go-to when I've got nothing better to watch. Now, one of the shows that I really like, and I've actually rewatched this one quite a bit too, Wilfred.
Oh, boy, Wilfred.
Now, I first saw Wilfred. It was on a... it was on IFC, but it was back when it was a New Zealand property. So,
wait, are you talking about the New Zealand version?
I'm talking about the American one, but I first saw Wilfred. I was first aware of the idea.
I'm following now. Yeah,
Jason Gann's show in New Zealand. Well, apparently, or was it Australia?
It was Australia.
Yeah, it was Australia. Yeah. He came back. He came to America because he got in a fight with a bus driver. Like, he got in a fight with a bus driver, and I guess he was really drunk, so he got kicked out of Australia.
So this is a real thing.
Yeah, and so then he came to the United States with Wilfred, and it got, picked up. And Elijah Wood plays Ryan, and of course Jason plays Wilfred. And if you're not familiar with the show, like Elijah Wood tries to kill himself in the first episode, and he wakes up to his next door neighbor moving in, and there's a man in a dog suit that everybody but him seems to think is a dog. But to Elijah Wood, it looks like a man in a dog suit. And they just kind of hang out and smoke weed. And, they get into all these shenanigans where Wilfred's, trying to teach him something. But more often than not, it's just nonsense.
Yeah, it's something that you shouldn't necessarily follow. And maybe it has a dog theme, like showing your dominance. But that could just be pooping in a shoe and running away. He's your helpful, advice column. That is the worst advice possible.
One of my favorite things, and the thing that really sold me on the show, was in the first episode when Wilfred's nervous. He's got a shovel, and he's digging holes in the backyard. And he's got a cigarette in one hand, and he's digging a hole. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I start digging when I get nervous, Ryan." Or when he takes him to the beach. And they're like, "This is a dog beach." And Wilfred's like, "It's a pelican, Ryan. It's a pelican." And then he brings the pelican back dead. And it's like, "It's a dead pelican, Ryan." But I think that show really ended on a really good note because there was a lot of mystery as to who Wilfred was, what he represented, and that sort of thing. And they kind of wrapped it all up really nicely, on whether or not Elijah. And I'm not gonna spoil the ending, but whether or not Elijah Wood was insane or if Wilfred was really this like crazy.
Can we spoil
being.
the ending? It's been years now. I guess
It's been a couple of years.
It's worth not. I guess it's worth keeping.
I think if the audience hasn't seen Wilfred, they should go out and watch Wilfred. And I'm talking to you guys. You should go out and watch Wilfred and
what
like
are you
to
doing?
the end.
Listen to this Turn off the podcast. Quit listening to us. Go watch Wilfred.
And then come back and listen to the rest of the podcast.
I guess
please.
I don't know. I don't think that far ahead. But come on, it's a great show.
It really is, though.
Actually, the ending of Wilfred.
Well, I really like how obsessed Wilfred is with like Matt Damon. He's like, let's get some Matt Damon DVDs, and then like that becomes like a thing later. The Madamon.
He has his enemy, which is jelly beans, which are kind of an enemy. I mean, there's an on again, off again, but
yeah, they're like.
I've wanted to name a dog jelly beans because of that show. Mm-hmm. But you know, the ending. I saw Wilfred. I was watching that show religiously. I couldn't wait for the next week.
Yeah,
I couldn't wait to see the big mystery reveal. You know, I had so much hope.
Well,
only to be devastated. That episode, the season finale, the series finale of Wilfred, made me more depressed than any other show.
I loved it though. Like
had
I was
such an
very
effect on
happy.
me. I actually spent like the next I think it was actually a week where people are like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I just saw this show and it just really affected me." And they were like, "It's a TV show, Jordan. What are you doing?"
But it's Wilfred.
Well, I'm telling you, Shay, like, I've never been that affected.
No. I'm on your side here. Like,
we're talking about The Walking Dead. Like, people, spoilers, by the way, coming up. Like,
oh yeah, this is a spoiler episode for sure.
Yeah, after this commercial break, watch out. But I did not get this affected with this Walking Dead. I've never been this affected with any Walking Dead, any Game of Thrones.
And that's why I liked Wilfred so much, because not only was it funny, but it actually was emotionally investing. You actually care about all of these characters, even though this is a show about a man in a dog suit that takes a dump in your shoe.
Yeah, I mean, and even then, like Hodor with Game of Thrones,
right?
I was still laughing at the fact that I'm tearing up right now. Like, this is just so sad.
Yeah,
what's going on?
Or the exchange between, even more so than the Hound and Arya, like that whole exchange where she just leaves him there.
Yeah, no, it was devastating. But even then, I'd bounce back. Like, I would laugh at, like, oh, my God, I'm crying at a show. Wilfred left me like, oh, okay.
Yeah, well, like, and I liked that about Wilfred, though. Like, that's a good thing as far as I'm concerned.
In the time, I appreciated it. But, like, then I was like, I wish things could be different. I wish it had a happier ending.
I liked that it ended on a bit of a somber note.
Yeah, it was somewhat, it was more bitter, but it had a little bit of sweet to it. Like, didn't involve
I
death.
really enjoyed the show as a whole, and on occasion I go back and rewatch it.
Oh God, I'm thinking about it now. It's still breaking my heart. All right, yeah. We got to go to a commercial break. I need to get over this. Did you have anything you want to say? I'm sorry.
We're going to be talking about The Walking Dead and Z Nation coming up, so please stick around.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now. Don't bother. What's hot on Netflix and everything in between. That's GSMCpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast. I'm Shay Northrup.
Welcome back. I'm Jordan Giles. It's great to be here.
Now, one of the things that's actually kind of cool is this weekend we both went to Sac Con here in Sacramento. And one of the panels we went to was actually for The Walking Dead, and it had Lou Temple and Vincent Ward. So that's Oscar and Axel.
Yeah.
And I had to say that I actually really enjoyed the interview. We got an interview with Lou, and I'll see if I can find it. I've been having trouble trying to find the file, but we sat down and we actually were at the panel, and oh man, like. These guys were really down to earth, and I really appreciated it.
They were great. Yeah, they put their chair. They felt like the teachers that, you know, whenever you see a movie and it's a teacher trying to reach an inner city, like, you know,
yeah,
they were just very real. They were like, "Come on, you know, Shakespeare, hip hop," and
right. And
they just felt very down to earth and relatable.
So like they had kind of like this little stage that like the people on the panels would go and sit on, and they had like their little table and their waters and everything. And all the other panels, they all sat up there. Those guys didn't. They came down and sat on our level with us, and like were right there, no microphones, just talking with us because it was kind of a small group. And just some of the things that Lou Temple said in of itself, and even Vincent, some of like the humbling things. Like Lou, if you're not familiar with him, he was in 31 with Rob Zombie. I highly recommend you guys check out that film if you haven't. It's pretty interesting, and he's worked with Rob Zombie a lot. Yeah, like if you like horror, like this is not.
Shay's a horror lover. I mean,
yeah, don't take your kids to this. I figure if you like The Walking Dead, you'll probably enjoy it too. Like,
you think so?
I think so.
Okay, all right.
And these guys both seem to be the kind of guys. Vincent Ward is actually in Atlanta. I think the most recent episode of Atlanta,
which I think have we talked about this on? Yeah,
we've talked about Atlanta before.
Atlanta's a big deal, so watch that anyways. You don't need Ward to be there to watch it, but
so we'll release some of these clips, some of these audio bits, and in the future that you can kind of listen to from these panels that we went to. But without further ado, I guess we should probably talk about the latest Walking Dead episode.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay.
I have to say that, I have my problems with The Walking Dead on occasion. I haven't watched too much of it, but this episode was actually really intense, and I think that it's a good moving forward point for the show. What do you think?
I appreciate your honesty that you're not a fan of The Walking Dead. You're not coming out here saying, because I know that's not big. That's not your big thing. You're very nitpicky. You're very picky when it comes to what you want when it comes to horror. I mean, I don't understand why Z Nation's okay with you, but Walking Dead isn't. But that's neither here nor there.
I could really get into that. I think it's just more because I think that The Walking Dead, as a more serious piece, has all these opportunities to bring up certain things, and sometimes they skipped over it. I think my problem too is that I've only seen stuff from the first 2 seasons until more recently, and I feel after watching this episode, and especially after hearing from Lou Temple, which the guy just seems like a nice guy, and Vincent Ward, him too, like they're great. After listening to them and then watching this episode, I actually kind of want to go and maybe give The Walking Dead a third chance. I've given it 2 chances in the past. Okay. I might go back and give it more of a chance.
Well, the fact that you gave, me, I'm always saying try anything twice. So if you've already tried, I can't fault you for not liking The Walking Dead.
Well, I mean, I
appreciate that third try.
I keep watching American Horror Story, even though every season I'm just more and more just like, ugh, this show.
What about the newest one?
I haven't started. I watched the first episode of it, but I haven't watched past there. I did not like season 5. I went and tried to watch season 5. I did not like the vampire stuff. I liked season 4, and I liked season 1.
Okay, I liked season 4 too. I thought that was a good one.
I think it had some not so good moments. Now,
but it had elements I really enjoyed.
Yes. Now, if you guys haven't seen it yet, you've probably seen it on the internet, so spoilers.
Yeah, watch out. This is all spoilers from here on out.
So Abraham Ford died. His last words were, excuse me, suck my nuts. And Gwen also died, and didn't his eyeball pop out? Like, it was crazy.
Glenn's eyeball, yeah. Did it? Yeah, that was a big
very graphic. Now, it's interesting to note, Gwen has been with them since the beginning. Glenn. So, you'll notice, especially with a lot of these shows feature, around zombies and that sort of thing, a lot of times if they have a character that's been there for, 8 seasons, or they're on season 7?
No, we're on season 7.
Yeah. They've been there for 6 seasons, and Glenn has finally died. That's really, killing off your cast there. I think that's kind of an interesting.
Well, yeah, I think it's trying to show that nobody's safe in this show. I mean,
now one of the things
we loved Glenn. I'm a Glenn fanatic.
A lot of people were really afraid Daryl was going to die, and the old saying, "If Daryl dies, we walk," that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Lou Temple was very adamant when everybody said whenever anybody would say zombies, he'd be like, "Walker, they're walkers. Don't say zombie."
Along with that, he was saying, to all you people out there that are saying if Daryl dies, we riot. You're still gonna watch the show.
Yeah, he was very honest about it.
Yeah, which I appreciate. I feel like there'd be 5 people, but you're not watching it strictly for Daryl, because if you did it, he would have a lot more screen time. You see him about a good 10 minutes. I mean,
yeah, he's
now that everyone's kind of interspersed and out doing their own thing.
He reminds me of Boba Fett a little bit, where he doesn't say much, doesn't do much. He just shows up and everybody just is like, yay!
Yeah.
Or like Darth Maul, right? Like Darth Maul is very scarcely in the Phantom Menace, but he's the only thing anyone likes about the Phantom Menace. Everyone's just like, yay, Darth Maul.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice when he's there, but he's not the reason that you're watching it.
Exactly.
So I liked this episode. It shook me up. I went like, oh, wow.
Yeah, no, it was very graphic and very intense. I have to say, like, I think I actually might try to get into The Walking Dead after this.
Yeah, is that a promise?
That is a promise, but I have to wait until I'm done with Game of Thrones.
Now, Glenn's last words. Now, Abraham sucked my nuts. That was funny. I was a fan of that.
I think that played to his character very well.
If anyone doesn't find that appropriate, well, it's on the show that we're talking about right now. So Glenn's last words were, "Maggie, I'll find you." Now, saying that with an eyeball bulging out of you and shaking from and just bleeding out, that one, I think that was a big shocker to me through this show.
It just kind of goes to show you that Glenn is a little nuts.
I hate you so much.
I wasn't trying to make a joke there.
Yes, you were. Don't even say that you weren't trying to make a joke. Yeah, no. So dumb. All right, I'm sorry. I'm trying not to laugh anymore. Yeah, but I keep wanting to call him Gwen now. Glenn, that was really when you watch that show from the beginning and you grow to love these characters like they're just a child of yours or just like a family member, because you've watched them grow up and in a way kind of build themselves up as survivors in this, and you see them almost die. Like everyone was terrified of Glenn dying last season, but he's still you can hear it. Like I'm so tempted to say Gwen from now on. But everybody was so worried about losing him last season, and here he is. He's still hanging in there. It just kind of makes you go, oh, gosh, Lord, all this for nothing. It feels like a wasted effort to hope and pray that he's okay this time, only for him just to end up getting taken from you, You know what's very interesting to note, too? At the Sac Con, when Lou asked everybody, like, hey, who do you think is going to die? Like, almost all of them said Glenn. I said Abraham. I think everyone was pretty. No, wait, no, I said Maggie. I said Maggie.
Yeah, you said Maggie.
I think a lot of people had Abraham and Glenn. But people that said Glenn, though, everyone else was like, don't be a jerk. Like,
right.
Like, what are you doing here? Like, stop it. So it was really cute. You see, like, with seeing people that are already like horrified at the thought of him dying, like I can only imagine how they were. I have a friend that watches the show. He texted me at 2 a.m. that day. This is somebody who has like a 9 p.m. bedtime. He's
right.
He's a very goody guy. He doesn't like to curse or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And he texted me saying, "Are you still awake? I can't sleep after The Walking Dead. I'm really depressed right now." So I know like this is going to be a really strong. This is affecting. But the thing that took it over, it was Glenn's last words there, and it was Carl almost getting his arm cut off.
Yeah,
that was the part where I went, oh my god, this show is too much for me right now. Like,
I love it. This is what a way to open up a season. You know what I mean? Let's just hope that the rest of the season is this good. I definitely want to jump on board with this now. Like I think I'm going to jump on the Walking Dead bandwagon. I have been off it for so long, but
Join. Is it because it's too mainstream?
No, it was one of those things where I watched the first episode and I loved the first episode, but then the second episode was really lackluster. The third episode was the same thing as the second episode, and then the fourth episode, Glenn gets kidnapped by a group of like thugs, right?
Yeah.
And I thought this was going to be an excellent time to have like the group go up against this gang who has their friend, and they have to go and they have to army up and fight them. And I was like, yes. The struggle between man versus man while there are monsters around them.
Well,
I'm like, this is great. And then it turns out that they're just taking care of an old folks home. Like, the conflict got resolved in 5 minutes.
Well, no, the thing about the show that makes it so great is that walkers haven't been a problem. They're basically like an extra hard snowstorm. Like,
right.
They're a hazard, but it is between man versus man. Like, I really think you would enjoy the show because the people are the biggest conflict.
But once they like totally squandered that opportunity. I was like, well, if they're going to keep this up, I don't even want to check this out.
no,
I was really disappointed with how they solved this problem in 5 minutes.
I think, but you're willing to give it a try now, because that's not the case. I think you caught a bad episode. Oh, not even a bad episode, but like, you have to really watch the entirety of the show.
Well,
because it's so
interesting to note what the guys were saying at the panel was that originally they thought that this was just going to be a 6-part one shot that nobody was going to enjoy.
Yeah,
like,
no, this was not intended to be so big. They didn't realize that this really struck a
chord
nerve,
with people. Yeah, like and so just hearing about them talking about it and just hearing about like all of this stuff, where before I kind of ignored it and I had tried it a couple times. Hearing more about it makes me appreciate it a little bit more, and seeing this episode made me appreciate it a little bit more. And I think I'm willing to give it another shot.
Well, it's a special show, and we're
my mom loves it.
Break. We're heading on like 5 minutes over, but
Oh wow,
yeah, it's a fun talk. I just want to say that despite that, like your reason, like they just got over this conflict, too quickly. I didn't like that. It's not that. It's the special thing about the show is. It's one conflict after another.
Yeah.
And they can take down somebody instantly. There was a group of cannibals that they had to take out.
What would you give this show on a scale of 1 to 5?
Honestly, for the fact that it's in 7 seasons and it still makes me react like it's, season 2, like the lasting effect of the show, I'm going to say it's like a 4.5 for me.
Okay, cool. All right, and on that note, let's cut
the consistency makes it perfection,
On that note, we will cut it to a break. When we get back, we're going to talk about another zombie-related show, one that may or may not be on the same level as Walking Dead. We'll talk about
Just
it.
admit it. Z Nation sucks. All right, we'll be back, guys.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch, whatever it may be.
Hey everybody, welcome back to GSMC Television Podcast. I'm Jordan Giles.
And I'm Shay Northrup.
Standing by the late, great Shay Northrup.
Oh, well, thank you.
You were late today.
Well, I was not late today.
Oh, never mind. That's not what that means. Okay, so we're coming back, and we just talked about Walking Dead. Now we're going to talk about another Dead-themed show, zombie-esque.
I really think you need to give this one more of a chance. I don't know. How many episodes have you seen?
I've seen like 3. I've seen maybe 3 to 4.
You've probably watched like the bad ones. Now, I've talked a little bit about Z Nation in the past, and I kind of wanted to follow up about season 3, so I'm not going to talk too much about 1 and 2.
Have you noticed that like campy like TV and sushi are like identical? Because if you don't like it, then it's like, oh, you haven't had the right roll yet. You gotta try that California Crunch roll. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people just don't like to admit that the thing they like isn't good.
Well,
I'm
the
same way.
I know that it's not good, but it's not bad. Like, there are definitely some elements about it that I really enjoy. It takes the zombie apocalypse in a less serious light, and I do enjoy that. And I think the characters are kind of compelling sometimes.
Well, you're a big fan of the campy, right? Like,
I am. Now, season 3, it started off with a 2-hour movie, which by the end of the movie, by the way, I was just like, everybody who they came to save is dead now. Like
a 2-hour. So it was a 2-hour special for season 3.
Yeah, well, it wasn't really 2 hours. It was 2 hours once stretched out with commercials, but like on its own, it's like the average length of a real movie.
Okay.
It's supposed to take place in the middle of season 2. So they're just like opening up a spot somewhere in season 2 and slapping an episode in. I didn't really like that. I didn't like that they called it a flashback movie. Some of the themes were pretty cool. We have been introduced to a new antagonist who is a man in a suit who looks kind of like Agent 47, and he wears flip-flops.
Flip-flops.
It's a little unpractical for the apocalypse.
I was just thinking it's pretty impractical for like a zombie. Yeah.
He's like a major like BA though. Like he kicks butt. But
a BA?
So, badass.
Oh, okay. Bachelor's associate.
Yeah. So, man, the last couple episodes. Now, if you've seen season 2, at the end of season 2, Murphy is off in a boat, and Warren and the gang have to go and try to find him. We weren't sure if 10K is alive. As I told you guys, he's alive. Like, there's nothing wrong with 10K, but I don't know. These episodes.
Who's 10K?
So 10K is this kid who he's like probably 18, if not older.
Is he the main man?
He's kind of essentially the Daryl of the show. Like, he's got a sniper rifle and he's trying to get to 10,000 zombie kills. One of the things that kind of sucks about season 3, though, is that he stopped counting. So it kind of makes him kind of like that was the thing you liked about him, was that he had like so many kills in every episode. He'd be like, I'm at like 7,998 or whatever kills.
Is he close to 10K?
He was getting there. I think he was like in the 6,000s at one point.
That's insane. That's a town.
So he's definitely killed quite a few. And so like
maybe it turns out he's been counting the whole time, but it's internally. Like, they're like, he's not counting now, but like towards the end of the season, he's changing his pants, and they find this like piece of paper that's crumpled up, and they're like, "What's this number?" That means I've got 3 more kills left. Like, you know what I mean?
Geez,
like,
that would be kind of cool. Now, one of the things that I'm actually really upset about is that they had such an opportunity here. The first 2 seasons are all about getting the Murphy to California, and then when they finally do, now you have all this opportunity. The Murphy should be this big, towering enemy that they need to stop because they technically helped create him. Like, they protected him. If they would have stopped him at any moment, things would be good. Instead, we're getting these jumbled episodes with really bad acting. If you thought Citizen Z was a bad actor before, you should see him now, because now he's interacting with an Eskimo family and an Eskimo girl that cannot act to save her life. So you get 2 of these really terrible actors talking to each other, and you just want to, like, I don't know. It's bad. And then there was like a whole episode where 10K is just running around a forest remembering somebody from his past that died. It's really drawn out. They've drawn out the slow motion, and I'm kind of tired of it. Like, they really had an opportunity here to turn the show from something that was a little campy to something great, because the first season was extremely campy. It had a little bit of fun. I liked some of the elements of it, but season 2 really picked up. Season 2 really set the stakes, made you care. There was campiness in it, but they obviously got a budget increase, and you could tell. Now, I feel like they're just kind of trying to stretch it out as long as they can. And I'm very unhappy with it. And what should I expect? This is a sci-fi show. I shouldn't expect quality content, I guess. What do you think?
No, I mean, I think that it's kind of like Ash vs. the Evil Dead. From what I've seen, except for it takes itself a lot more seriously, So
yeah, I liked that it did take itself a little seriously while still giving us comedy. And I like the characters. Like, Doc is great. I like Warren. I don't think Addie can act to save her life, but she's a presence. Like, she's the one with the baseball bat and the spikes. Like, she's fun to watch do stuff.
Yeah.
She's not a good actress. Like, there was an episode recently, they just got this lady who's from the Chinese military on their side now. And she's, like, threatening the girl from the Chinese military. And I'm just like, the lady from the Chinese military can't act, and then Addie can't act.
I'm going to have to go back and watch a lot of this show, because I'm getting lost, and now I'm on the show with you. You're going to make me watch bad, campy zombie shows that take themselves seriously, and that's fine. That's the price I'll pay. I'll come back here with more knowledge on it. For what I've seen, though, I would not be able to watch it on my own going, all right, I feel good about what I'm seeing right now.
I think if you give it a little bit more of a chance.
Okay, so I'll watch Z Nation, you watch Walking Dead. Deal?
Deal.
Okay,
Deal.
great.
And we'll come back next week and tell each other what we've thought.
So, season 3, you're kind of let down with it. Not everybody is. You're the only one person that's let down with Z Nation.
The boss, the boss and Sarah are both, like, really let down with it, too. Like, we've kind of all come to the conclusion that
I didn't know other people in this office watched it.
Oh, yeah, they love that show. But it's like we're all come to the conclusion that maybe instead of like buying more explosions and more like sets and stuff, maybe they should have actually paid for better writers. And I know that like you can't.
I think that's a classic dilemma in B-movie kind of situations,
Yeah, I honestly, dude, like
that's
feel
why
like
we started owning up to B-movies being bad. That's why people that make them go like Sharknado, look how bad it is, because they know It's not good, so you have to own it.
My favorite are the people that like think that it's good anyway, like the guy who did Birdemic or have you seen Birdemic?
I've seen Birdemic.
Or The Room. Like I love it when they're completely oblivious to the fact that their movie is bad.
Yeah,
that's the best kind.
I understand that.
But yeah, no, they liked the show, and we are all in agreement that they should have done something with the budget that they got, because they got a budget increase both times, and it's become a bit of a phenomena. Like, believe it or not, there is a big fan base for Z Nation out there. And there are a lot of people that argue that it's better than The Walking Dead, although at this point in time, I would have argued that at the end of Season 2. Now that I've seen Season 3, I'm kind of let down.
You're hesitant a bit. Or you know it's just not, you're not feeling it right now.
Yeah, it's just not, and I hope they pick it up, because I think this show has potential. I think this show has some decent characters. Of course the acting isn't great, but I'm willing to give that a pass just because I like the style and the presence, and I like the little bits of comedy. Like there's an episode, and I like that they don't take themselves super seriously. There's an episode where they incorporate like aliens almost. And like,
oh god, yeah.
Yeah, no, like when I first saw that, I was like, oh my god, are you kidding me? And one of the characters is like, well, this is a zombie apocalypse. And the other guy's like, yeah, I guess so. And he's like, so are aliens really that ridiculous? And the guy's like, no. Like they're telling the audience.
They're telling the audience.
Like, hey, this isn't really that ridiculous. You're watching a show about zombies. And I'm just kind of like, oh.
The only thing that could have made that better was if they were like, maybe if we waited a couple more seasons before we did this. Like, they just broke down, like, the fourth wall completely. No, it's okay. Season 2 happened, and we're all right with it.
It's really funny, too. Somewhere in Season 1, because this show started in 2014, so this was, like, around the time when, like, Sharknado 2 had just come out. They had an episode with a zombie-nado. Like, there was a tornado with a bunch of zombies in it, and they just kind of, like, fly through a building, and all of a sudden there's a zombie fight, like, because the tornado threw a zombie through a building.
Okay, see, that's still really dumb.
Yeah, no, well, if you think that's bad...
Can you rate Walking Dead right now, or do you feel like you want to watch some more
episodes? I want to watch some more of it.
All right, and I feel like I can't rate this, Z Nation yet. So
for me, Season 1, I give a 3-star... like a solid 3 stars.
Okay.
For Season 2, I give it like 3.5, maybe 4. Season 3 right now, I'm leaning towards 2. I'm very disappointed.
So should I start off with Season 1, or do you think because of its campy, don't take it seriously, I could start at Season 2?
I think if you were to start in Season 2, you wouldn't really understand what the Murphy is.
So I'd have to go back because I don't.
I'd say Episode 2 is I'd say
I
watch
can skip
the first
1, but 2 is where I should start.
I would say watch 1, but take it with a grain of salt because 1 is just kind of an introduction to everything.
Yeah.
Episode 2 and 3 are actually really good.
Okay, all right. I'll check it out then. I'll give it back, and I guess within the next coming weeks, I'll be rating Z Nation.
And I will rate The Walking Dead. Now, what do you suggest? Now, I've seen the first 4 episodes. Should I just keep going?
I really, God, first season is going to be the most low budget. I mean, even then, you've got that cool scene where, the tank and things like that.
Yeah.
But it gets progressively better. I really think so.
I hear Season 2 isn't so good.
I think at some point, like there's a half point in Season 2, a mid-season where they go to the prison. When you meet the governor's a very likable villain as far as like you love to hate him, right?
All right, I'll give...
Just push through. I'm pushing through, too.
Yeah, I will watch the first season of The Walking Dead if you watch, I don't know, half of Z Nation. Half of the first season of Z Nation.
First season of Walking Dead's not going to do it for me. I want you to watch up to 3. Can we? I know that's a lot. That's a tall order.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that in a week.
Yeah, no. Well, no. We'll say this is going to be a couple weeks.
Okay. Yeah, we'll wait for a couple weeks, and I think we're about ready to wrap up the show.
Oh, we've been ready. We're 7 minutes to ready. So.
I'm Shay Northrup.
I'm Jordan Giles.
This has been the Television Podcast, and where can they find us?
On GSMCpodcast.com. Also iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher. Where can they find us if they like our social media stuff?
You should look for us on Facebook and Twitter. Let us know what you think. Do you like The Walking Dead? Do you like Z Nation? Am I completely wrong about both of my opinions on both of these things? Tell me. Let me know.
Please correct us. But even if you are correcting us, please rate, review, subscribe. So until next time,
I'm Shay Northrup.
I'm Jordan Giles again.
And stay saucy.
Stay sauced.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Television Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.